Destiny 2 has an absurd amount of weapons in the game, too many to even try and remember. Some of them are really good, some of them are mid, and some of them are downright useless. Now there are specific weapons that are the best weapons in the game for said activities. These are what we call meta weapons. The only downside to meta weapons is they can be really hard to obtain, or they might take a really long time to grind out to get that perfect gold roll. So in today's video, I want to recommend some of the best meta weapon alternatives that you can get that are super simple to get, and they almost perform just as good as the meta weapons. They're just not said meta weapon. These are 7 of the best alternative weapons to the best meta weapons in the game. Starting off with one of the best rocket launchers in the game, we have the Apex Predator. As we all know, this is one of the best rocket launchers that you can use in the game to do the most damage to bosses. With its gold roll being reconstruction and bait and switch, this is arguably one of the best rocket launchers in the game right now. Now the Apex Predator comes from the Last Wish raid, which for some players can be challenging and hard to complete. Not to mention you need to get 5 of these in a red border form to actually craft it, which can be quite a grind. Now the easiest and most obtainable alternative weapon to this has to be the Hothead. Now if you didn't know, before the Apex Predator came into Destiny 2 as a craftable weapon, the Hothead was one of the preferred and best used rocket launchers for DPS. Now if you want to pick one of these up, all you have to do is come over to Zavala in the tower, head over to the Focus Decoding and into the Legacy Gear tab. And as you can see right here, for 3 Vanguard engrams, you can buy a Hothead right now with some Glimmer as well. Super simple, all you have to do is play some Vanguard, get some Vanguard engrams, and you can buy it right now. Now the gold roll for the Hothead has to be auto-loading holster in the first column and explosive light in the second column. Auto-loading holster will work very similarly to reconstruction, where it will reload your weapon when you put it away. Now explosive light will give you a flat 25% increased damage per shot with a maximum stack of 6 stacks. To get 1 stack, all you have to do is pick up an Orb of Light. The Hothead is an amazing weapon, and I definitely recommend you grab this one if you don't have a decent rocket launcher for DPSing on bosses. Up next, we have one of the best hand cannons in the game to this day, which is the Zali Bane, obviously from the King's Fall raid. Now the King's Fall can be one of the harder raids to do in Destiny, and especially getting 5 red borders of the Zali Bane can be quite a challenge. This season the Zali Bane has to be one of my favorite weapons because of all of the solar capabilities with the artifact perks. The Zali Bane gold roll being incandescent and explosive payload, this is one hell of a hand cannon. Now if you don't have this one, the alternative to this is the Apocal integration. Now everyone should have the Apocal integration. It came out sometime as a random mission after the Lightfall DLC. Now if you don't have one for some reason, just head over to Neptune and talk to Nimbus. There should be a quest from him. It's very simple to get. If not, just look up a guide on YouTube. Now the Apocal integration is a fixed roll gun, meaning it has said perks on it that you can't change. The 2 best perks that I would recommend to use on it is Incandescent and Stats for All, or you can even run Keep Away instead of Stats for All if you like. This is very similar to the Zali Bane, the only thing it's missing is the explosive payload. Either way, the Apocal integration is a great hand cannon to use, and it works very similar to the Zali Bane. So if you don't have the Zali Bane yet, try the Apocal integration out until you can get a Zali Bane. Next on the list, I'm going to cover some linear fusion rifles. Now some of the best and meta linear fusion rifles in the game can be something like the Cataclysmic or even the Briar's Contempt. The Cataclysmic comes from the Vow of Disciple raid, and the Briar's Contempt comes from the Root of Nightmares. Again, getting 5 red borders from a raid can be quite challenging for a lot of players. So if you don't have either of these weapons, don't stress. This season, in the Season of the Wish, we got a new linear fusion rifle called the Doom Petitioner from the Focusing tab in the Wish Engram Decoding. Now this linear fusion rifle is just as good, if not better, than the other 2 linear fusion rifles like the Cataclysmic and the Briar's Contempt. The 2 great perks that this weapon can roll with is Reconstruction and Precision Instrument. As you know, Reconstruction will reload and automatically double the magazine, and the new perk Precision Instrument basically means dealing sustained damage increases your precision damage. This will stack up to 6 times, giving you a 25% damage boost. This one is super simple to obtain this season. Just grab a bunch of Wish engrams by farming the coil, and you should have a red border and craft it in no time. Up next, we have fusion rifles. Now, there are various fusion rifles in the game that can be great and very specific for certain situations in doing massive damage. Some of the best and meta fusion rifles in the game can be something like the Nox Perennial, which is a random world drop, the Techian Force from the Last Wish raid, and many other fusion rifles in the game, like the Riptide or something similar. Now, some great alternatives to these said random world drop fusion rifles are the seasonal fusion rifles. One of them that comes to mind is the Eremite from the last season, and the second fusion rifle is the Scatter Signal from this season, Season of the Wish. Both of these fusion rifles are super simple to obtain. All you have to do is get some seasonal engrams and then go and decrypt as many as you need. Both of these seasonal fusion rifles can roll with some of the best perks for fusion rifles, these being Envious Assassin and Controlled Burst. These will overflow the magazine up to double, and then it will also increase your damage and improve the charge time. I definitely recommend you try and get your hands on an Eremite or even the Scatter Signal before the final shape, as these weapons will be going away and they are seriously just as good as the meta weapons, if not even better. Next on the list, we have one of my favorite grenade launchers in the game, and that is the Forbearance. Now, the Forbearance has to be the best ad clearing weapon in the game, if not one of the best weapons in the game. Being a arc waveframe grenade launcher, this weapon is seriously strong. Now, the Forbearance is obtainable through the Vow of the Disciple raid, one of the harder raids in the game to complete. Now, the gold roll for this one is the Ambitious Assassin perk and also Chain Reaction. What this will do is whenever you get a kill with it, it will overflow the next shot to give you 2 bullets in the magazine. But with Chain Reaction, the enemy will also explode in a massive arc explosion. This explosion will chain and just cause mass explosions, dealing massive damage to ads, making it one of the best weapons to use to clear ads. Now, a super simple, easy alternative to get instead of the Forbearance is the Salvager's Salvo. Now, if you've played Destiny for a while now, you will know exactly what the Salvager's Salvo is, but if you are newer to Destiny, this used to be one of the best guns in the game, pretty much the go-to gun before the Forbearance came out. Now, the Salvager's Salvo is the exact replica of the Forbearance. The only difference is it isn't waveframe, making it a little harder to kill enemies with, but it has the exact same perks and it is also arc in the same slot of the special category. Ambitious Assassin and Chain Reaction will be on this gun, so this weapon is basically the exact same. Now, you get this one by going to the Monuments to Lost Light in the tower and simply just buying it. There you go, you now have the exact replica of the Forbearance, minus the waveframe part. Now, the next meta weapon has to be the Callus Mini Tool. This is everyone's favorite submachine gun in the game. It is a great weapon to use with Incandescent and Unrelenting, making mass solar explosions and also healing you. Now, because the Callus Mini Tool is only obtainable through the exotic mission rotator, you could be waiting a while for the Callus Mini Tool to come back around. You will then have to use all of your deep sight harmonizers on any ones that you get to get this weapon crafted. Now, a perfect alternative to this gun is the Bug Out Bag from the Season of the Deep. Just head over to the helm and go to the Season of the Deep, pick up the artifact, start farming some engrams, and you can purchase this one right away. Now, the 2 best perks on this one is Subsistence and Incandescent. This one also has the exact same RPM of 900 as the Callus Mini Tool, making it a very similar weapon to use, minus the grind. Honestly, I actually really enjoy using the Bug Out Bag. I just use the Callus Mini Tool because I like the look of it a bit more, and I prefer Unrelenting over Subsistence. Now, another great auto rifle in the game that everyone loves using is the Rufus's Fury from the Root of Nightmares raid. Now, the Rufus's Fury being a strand auto rifle can work very well with all of your strand subclasses, which has many perks that you may like to use on it, such as Hatchling. Now, a great alternative to the Rufus's Fury is the Perpetualis. You can buy this auto rifle right now from the war table in the helm, just like some of the other seasonal weapons. Just pick up the artifact and start farming some engrams down, and within no time you should have it crafted. The 2 best perks that I recommend for the Perpetualis is Envious Assassin and Hatchling, making it very similar to the Rufus's Fury. But anyway, Guardians, that will wrap the list up there. There are some of my best recommended alternatives to the best meta weapons in the game. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite non-meta weapon is, and I'll see if I can make a second video to this. But anyway, Guardians, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below. But anyways, I'll see you in the next video. Later.